anxiety and mental distortions. He believed he was safe in his own mind, until anxiety began to whisper lies. What were once clear memories became distorted shadows, and every simple thought turned into a labyrinth with no way out. But when he finally thought he had found the truth, he realized it might just be another illusion created by his own mind. After all, how can you distinguish reality from paranoia when the enemy is inside you? The onset of anxiety. He walked down the street like any other day, but something inside him began to stir. His heart raced for no apparent reason, as if he were facing an invisible danger. The air felt heavier, each breath became an effort. His mind, once tranquil, began to conjure up threatening scenarios. Strange glances, footsteps echoing behind him, distorted memories surfacing. What was merely routine transformed into a stage of silent paranoia. He couldn't explain it, but he felt something was wrong, as if the world around him had subtly and cruelly changed. Anxiety crept in like a shadow, infiltrating every thought, eroding his peace and leaving only the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. The first memory distortion. He was certain he had locked the door before leaving, but anxiety whispered otherwise. The memory, once clear, became hazy, as if it were a poorly recounted dream. Suddenly, images surfaced in his mind. The key left on the table, the door ajar, someone silently entering his house. None of this had happened, but his mind insisted on projecting unreal scenes. The character tried to convince himself of logic, but each attempt only reinforced the doubt. Anxiety distorted the past, transforming simple facts into dark enigmas. What was memory became fiction, and what was certainty dissolved into paranoia. He no longer knew if he remembered or invented, he only felt the weight of an invisible threat growing within him. Fear that grows for no reason. The silence of the night seemed ordinary, but within him, fear expanded like a shapeless shadow. There was no noise, no threat, only emptiness. Yet, his body reacted as if surrounded by invisible dangers. Each heartbeat echoed like an alarm, each breath seemed to announce an imminent disaster. Anxiety created monsters where none existed, transforming the simple creak of a door into signs of invasion, the wind passing through the window into whispers of persecution. He tried to rationalize, but logic crumbled before the intensity of the sensation. Fear needed no reason, its mere existence was enough. And the more selective he became, the more new threats his mind fabricated, plunging him into an endless cycle of silent paranoia. A silent paranoia. He began to hear sounds that no one else noticed. Light footsteps in the hallway, muffled voices behind the walls, the clinking of keys that never existed. Paranoia didn't scream, it whispered. It was discreet, almost invisible, but it seeped into every thought like a slow poison. The character looked around and everything seemed normal, but his mind insisted on creating hidden signs, messages concealed in people's gestures, dark intentions in the most banal glances. Anxiety transformed daily life into an invisible game of pursuit, where every detail was a clue to a conspiracy. He couldn't trust anyone, not even himself. The silent paranoia grew, fueled by formless fears, until the whole world seemed to be against him, even though nothing had actually happened. Mental isolation. He began to distance himself from people without realizing it. Every conversation seemed laden with ulterior motives. Every gesture seemed to conceal invisible judgments. Anxiety pushed him inward, creating a silent wall between him and the world. The character no longer trusted friends or family. He believed everyone could be against him even without proof. The isolation wasn't physical but mental. It was present, yet absent at the same time. While others laughed and talked, he lost himself in distorted thoughts, imagining criticisms, conspiracies, and rejections that never existed. his mind created a parallel universe where loneliness was inevitable, and the more he tried to escape, the deeper he sank into this inner abyss. Mental isolation became his invisible prison, built by his own anxiety. The feeling of being persecuted, he no longer walked freely through the streets. Each step was accompanied by the certainty of being watched. The sound of tires in the distance seemed to follow his movements. The reflection in a shop window transformed into attentive eyes, and even the silence carried the presence of someone hidden. Anxiety created invisible pursuers, shaping the world into a stage of constant surveillance. The character felt that every gesture around him was calculated against him. A neighbor closing the window, a stranger looking for a few seconds too long, even the phone ringing unanswered. Nothing was a coincidence, everything was a threat. The feeling of being pursued grew like a shadow that never left, making it impossible to distinguish the real from the imagined. He was no longer running from people, but from his own mind. The loss of reality, he could no longer distinguish what was real from what was created by his mind. The walls seemed to move slowly, objects changed places without anyone touching them, and even the sound of his own voice sounded strange, as if it came from someone else. Anxiety had broken the boundary between perception and illusion, transforming the world into an unstable and threatening scenario. The character tried to cling to concrete facts, but each memory came distorted, each sensation was tainted by doubt. The clock marked hours that seemed not to exist, and familiar faces became unknown masks. Reality crumbled into fragments, and he no longer trusted even his own senses. What remained was only the certainty of being trapped in a universe shaped by anxiety. The labyrinth of thoughts. Within his mind, each idea multiplied into 1,000 different versions, all contradictory and frightening. A simple thought, like remembering a banal conversation, became an endless labyrinth, full of false doors and dead-end corridors. Anxiety pushed him from one side to the other, making him question every word spoken, every gesture observed, as if there were hidden secrets in everything. He tried to find logic, but the more he searched, the more lost he became. The labyrinth had no center, no exit, only walls that moved and closed in on him. The character no longer thought. He survived amidst the mental chaos, a prisoner of a mind that created unsolvable enigmas. The torment was constant. There was no rest, only the feeling of being lost within himself. The invention of unreal facts. He began to believe stories that never happened. Anxiety fabricated memories as if they were real, dialogues that never existed, encounters that never occurred, betrayals that no one committed. The character found himself trapped in narratives invented by his own mind, but so vivid that they seemed like irrefutable proof. A simple lack of response to a message became evidence of conspiracy. A distracted glance was interpreted as calculated contempt. The mind created unreal facts and recorded them as truths, corroding any possibility of trust. He no longer knew if he lived in the present or in a mental theater where each scene was written by anxiety. The real world became merely a backdrop for illusions that grew and multiplied, until the lie seemed more convincing than reality itself. The torment of memories. Memories became enemies. The character relived ordinary moments as if they were nightmares, each detail distorted by anxiety. A simple conversation with a friend turned into a cruel judgment. A gesture of affection seemed to hide contempt, and even happy memories were tainted by doubt. The mind not only remembered but recreated, adding shadows and intentions that never existed. He tried to cling to the past to find security, but each memory became a trap, a torment that corroded his confidence. What was once a source of comfort was now a stage for paranoia. Anxiety molded the past into a dark theater, where each scene was rewritten to reinforce fear. The character no longer knew if he remembered or if he was merely suffering from inventions of his own mind. The body dominated by the mind. His body no longer obeyed simple commands. His hands trembled for no reason, his heart raced as if he were running a marathon, and sweat poured down even in absolute silence. Anxiety had taken hold not only of his mind but also of his flesh. Every physical sensation was interpreted as a sign of danger. A slight pain became a harbinger of collapse. A tightness in his chest seemed to announce the end. The character felt like a hostage of an organism that responded to the illusions created by his mind, as if manipulated by invisible forces. His body became a stage for torment, reacting to unreal fears with brutal intensity. He no longer knew if he was a victim of an illness or of his own mind. He only perceived that each heartbeat, each tremor, was further proof that he was losing control. Psychological collapse. The character could no longer sustain his own mind. Each thought clashed with another, each sensation amplified to its limit. Anxiety had reached devastating proportions, transforming daily life into an invisible battlefield. His body trembled, his breath faltered, and his mind fragmented into 1,000 pieces of paranoia and fear. He tried to resist, but each effort only deepened the abyss. The collapse didn't come as a scream, but as a suffocating silence. The inability to distinguish reality from illusion, to trust any memory or sensation. The world around him seemed to dissolve, and within him remained only absolute chaos. Psychological collapse was inevitable, the result of a mind that had become a prisoner of itself, with no way out, no rest, no hope. The dark ending. In the end, there was no longer any difference between what was real and what was created by anxiety. The character was completely consumed by his own mental distortions, living in a world where every memory was a lie and every sensation a threat. The silence became deafening, and the loneliness was absolute. He no longer fought against anxiety. He had become part of it, a reflection of his fears and paranoias. The ending didn't bring answers, but the acceptance that his mind had won. The character disappeared within himself, a prisoner of a labyrinth without exit, where reality was just a distant shadow. The somber ending revealed that, sometimes, the greatest enemy is not outside, but within oneself. Mind.